Hey cutie. Welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. This is update 3 for my Pan That palette. I am panning my Urban Decay. This is the Moondust Space Cowboy palette. This was a holiday release with Ulta and Urban Decay in 2024, and it was a brand new palette with only one use in every shade before making it my Pan That palette for 2025. And I'm really excited about the progress that I have in this palette. But first, Pan That palette was started by Amber F. I will have her linked in the description box. Her idea was to completely finish a palette up, and it's taken off ever since, and this project is well loved by a lot of people, especially people that want to use up things in their collection. This thing constantly gets use. Every single time I do my makeup, I reach into this palette in some capacity. For the most part, there are times where I don't reach into this, just if I'm no pan left behind in another palette. But I've made a ton of progress, and I'm just really excited to share this with you guys. So if you are new to my channel, if you like Project Pan, if you want to see me completely finish a new palette from this year, I'd love it if you subscribe so you can join this journey and you can be a cutie too. I have been panning my Urban Decay Moondust palette since the beginning of the year, all the way back in January, and I really have been enjoying this palette. So I'm going to have some clips go up of just how the palette was looking when we first saw it. Again, it was a brand new palette with one use in every shade, so not really used at all. It has maybe a very tiny bit of disturbance in the first clip, but you can definitely see as the clips kind of continue on, the usage just continues to make progress and make progress. And by the time we reached our second update back in March, I did end up hitting pan in my first shade in the palette. I was very surprised by hitting pan in that shade initially, and I didn't have a goal this month to hit pan in anything, but I am still really proud of where this palette is today, and this is my palette as of April 12th. So again, I had a lot more time between updates yet again in this update, but you know, that's fine. I really don't care. It doesn't have to be a very structured, like it has to be 30 days and then we film the update. I am just really happy and really just continuing to use this palette and enjoy this palette. And if that just means my updates sometimes take a little bit longer and maybe some months they'll be a little bit faster, I don't really mind, because I'm just continuing to use this palette no matter what, and I'm continuing to enjoy this palette no matter what. And I've made some pretty good progress in this palette. Now, did I meet every goal that I set out for this palette? Probably not, but I did meet a pretty decent amount of goals. Sorry, I'm going to get I have my makeup tracking spreadsheet, and I don't know why I didn't open it before. I also need to weigh this. One second. I'm really happy where this palette is as of today, and I'm excited to just kind of walk you through shade by shade and let you know the usage in it, goals, what my goals were for the month. Let's talk about some overall goals just to start, and this is like for the broad scope of the palette, and then we can talk about shade by shade and discuss if I met my 10 use per shade, and then I had one shade that I wanted to use 15 times. But my goal every month is to use at least, at the very minimum, 0.8 grams of product. I would like it to be 1 gram of product every month. However, I am looking at my numbers right now and I have not hit that yet. So that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just kind of an arbitrary goal to reach. And I know that to begin this project, it's going to be a slower start in this palette because they're new shades. So they still have a lot of youthfulness and decent formula still because they haven't gone off. And this actually has a 24-month shelf life after opening. So I feel like I'm going to make a lot of progress in this really quickly, and I'm just really excited about this palette. Historically, I'll have some numbers go on the screen. I'll like lean over here so the numbers can just go up right here. So I have been not able to hit the 1 gram mark at all this year, and that's okay. That is a-okay. I know that this is just going to be a slower to go project and palette, and I'm going to make progress in some shades much quicker than I'm making in other shades, and it just depends on how much progress I can make to how much product gets used up. So I have only used up another half gram of product. It was very similar to last month. I used a half gram of product last month, and my highest usage month was in January when I used 0.7 grams, so a little over a half of a gram of product. But I mean, I can't be too upset. I'm at 1.7 grams used up in this palette so far. Now, ideally, I would be at 3 grams, so I'm about halfway to the goal by this time when I wanted to be, where I wanted to be this time this year. But again, I am not feeling discouraged at all. I am really enjoying this palette, and I'm genuinely just curious to see what I can do in this palette over the next year and the next couple months at this point. So I'm really happy about where this palette is. Let's just discuss each shade. I usually go clockwise, starting with the top shade. I hold it upside down just because it's easier for me. So we're going to start with this shade here, which is Vibing. That is the cream, like, nude lid. People use that as a lid setting shade. I really only use it as a brow bone, like, highlight and transition kind of shade. I use that as, like, a brow bone just to blend other shades out. It helps tidy up a look, in my opinion, because this shade is very, very similar to my skin tone. It's a little bit better in the summer months, I will say. It's a little, like, a fraction too dark for my skin tone the past quarter, but as I've been outside more with Bandit, I am feeling like I'm getting color back into my skin, so this is fitting me a little bit better. Now, this shade here, Vibing, I have used a total of 22 times in the past month. So a ton of use, actually. I've used that 22 times, so I'm really happy about it. That is my most used shade this month. It typically is my most used shade every month. If not on par with my other, it's like one of 3 most used shades. But yeah, I use that almost every single time I do my makeup, unless the palette has a shade similar to it. It's not one that I think I'm going to hit pan next. I definitely think there's 2 other shades I'm going to hit pan in before this one. But I do get really, really consistent use with this. I use just a large fluffy brush every single time I use it. Sometimes I also use it on my lower lash to clean out eyeshadow, like just if it has gotten untidy, I use that shade. So it just gets a ton of use, and it will continue to get a ton of use, and that's fine by me. Moving to the shade here, this is the shade VIP Only. This one gets a ton of use as well. I really like that as a transition color. That is usually my first crease color, if not primarily my only crease color, especially on days when I'm going to office. I am always wearing this palette when I go into work. I just layer it with different shades. But this shade has been really, really pretty. It's like a rosy, mauve-y kind of shade, and it's really pretty. It looks really flattering on my skin tone, and I think it complements my eye color really well and brings out a little bit more green in my eyes as well, just because of the undertone that this is. And it's been really, really lovely to work with. I have used this shade 18 times in the past month. Moving to the darkest matte in the palette, this shade here called No Sleep Club. I have been getting a lot of progress on this. It's a slow going product though, because it does not need a whole lot of color. I can actually wear this as a transition kind of crease shade, and if I'm using a fluffier brush and really diffusing it into the crease, I can use this as just a crease color and really sheer it out and make it look not as intense and deep on my eye. I think this is going to be one that I'm going to try to really set focus in fall, like September to November. I'm probably going to get the most use out of this because I'm probably going to lay it all over the lid and then layer other things on top of it. That's how I think that's going to eventually get pan in it. This is a shade that I don't know if this year I will hit pan without really truly forcing myself to put some serious moves in there. And when I say force myself to put moves in it, I don't actually mean like, oh, I gotta force myself to use it. I just need to focus on it in different ways and experiment in different ways, like using it all over the lid. It does have sparkle in it, so I'm thinking maybe it's something that I can really pack on and have a matte eye look with just like a little bit of like sequiny sparkle in it, and it would be really pretty. But for me to wear a shade that dark, that all over the lid, it's going to be more of the fall months. And then I might even be able to put a iridescent topper on top of it just to really emphasize the sparkle. So I have an idea for this one, but that idea is not going to be till later this year. There is a small dip forming in there. I'm sure you can see the disturbance in the pan. It's nowhere near like the other matte shade that I've been focusing on, but it's still a nice like focused little crater. Then we go to this shade here, the first shimmer, the darkest shimmer, the coolest tone shimmer in the palette, which was a focus shade for this month. This is the shade Endless Party, and I definitely feel like I have made a lot of progress in that shade, but I feel like the progress is really slow going. I definitely thought by like this past week, I'm like, I think I might actually hit pan in this shade, because the dip is pretty substantial. I don't know if it's going to really look like much in camera, to be honest. I'm hoping my other close-up shots are going to show it a little bit better. I block my viewfinder when I do these kind of close-ups, so I can't tell. But this one really, really, really has such a like smushed little imprint in it, and I use my finger with this shade. I use a brush with this shade. I also use a domed kind of brush when I'm using it on the lower lash line. So it doesn't get one specific type of brush. It gets a multitude of application styles for this shade. So I think that's kind of why the pan is just, it's such a decent amount of wear I've used in this, and even the crater still is pretty intense. So if I focus on this with a brush instead of like with my natural little fingers here, I think I can actually hit pan on that by next update. And the focus was to only reach for this shade 15 times, and I actually reached for Endless Party 17 times the past month. So by far the most use I've gotten in this shade at all this year, and I'm really proud of that. And I definitely see where my usage has really taken me. Now, this does look really pretty with a shade that I'm panning in my rolling 10 pan. I really like this paired with that. So while I still have that in my rolling 10 pan, it's almost finished though. A little spoiler, but not really a spoiler. I've been using this kind of all over the lid, and then I'll take that purple shade and put it like right in the center of the lid as like a halo eye. I get so many compliments at work when I wear that to the office. Shout out to you, Heather. Thank you so much for always complimenting my makeup when I wear that look. That also makes a really great lower lash line shade. That it is getting a little bit too cool toned for me for current. So I think once I hit pan on that shade, I'm probably going to take a step back from it for a little while. Maybe focus on this pink shade for a little bit, because this is a shade that I'm not really focused on my eyeshadow. So let's just talk about that next. So the shade next is A-List Energy, this shade here, which has it looks so well loved at this point. I'll have some close-up shots go up somewhere on the screen right now so you can kind of see what it's looking like, but I feel like that shade looks a lot lower in the pan than anything else. Like it might not look surface area wise like I've used it the most. It kind of looks like a nice pressed shade. But in terms of like, I feel like it looks more into the pan. If that makes any sense, like it's not puffed up, it's like really condensed into that pan. And it really does look like I've used that shade a ton. And I have used this shade a ton. I've used A-List Energy 20 times over the past month. 55 times in 2025, 56 times in its lifetime with me. And I really do like that shade, but it is a shade I always only use on my cheeks right now, because I've been really wanting to focus on those other two shimmers as lid shades. So I have not focused on this as a lid shade at all. I've worn it once as a lid shade, and that was really it. Every other use has been on the cheeks. So I'm getting a ton of use in there, but it's such even use that I don't think pan is anywhere near, which is a bummer. I really wish, but no, unfortunately. Then that brings us to the last shade in the palette, which is the only shade currently with pan on it. And I'm hoping the pan looks a little bit bigger than it did last time. I feel like the area surrounding the pan also looks a little more worn as well. Just a little more worn down and like used than it did. I am wearing that shade as well. I wear it almost every single day as my inner corner highlight shade. So the progress on that pan is just slow and steady, because I do use a very small domed pencil brush when I do use that as an inner corner shade. However, I do also pick up like kind of around the pan and then tap on just to give my look more sparkle. And because that's more of like a silver neutral kind of shimmer, it does neutralize colorful looks. If I feel like maybe my office look is a little bit too bright and exciting for an office look, that really does help tone down the eyeshadow look for me. So what do I think I can do for the next update? Do I think I can hit my 1 use or 1 gram goal? No. Am I gonna have a 1 gram goal? Yes. So my goal is to hit 1 gram of use, which would be, I need to take this palette to 95.5 grams by the next update. We'll see what we can do. It's like when you get a performance review and you're like, why do you even put a 5 on it if no one gets a 5? That's this goal. So I just put it in there just so if I hit it, I'm going to be so excited. But if not, like, it's fine. I'm still making progress. It's not discouraging. Now, I do want to continue to focus in on this shade, especially because it is something that pairs so well with another shade in my collection. So I think with Endless Party, that shade here, I think I want to continue and just try another 15 uses with this, as well as hit pan. I think I can do that in this shade. So that one, I want to 15 uses and pan. I want to do them both. I don't want to like have 3 uses, I hit pan, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I still want my 15 uses because I'm still working on that other shade in my Pan That palette that I think still has at least 15 uses. And if not, I'll just have to figure out something else to pair with this, and that's fine too. It just gives me more love in my collection. So yeah, pan and 15 uses on this. Dare I say pan in this shade? Dare I say it? I don't think... I'm going to try. This is a shade that I continuously focus on, and I'm really targeting the same area every single time I use this shade. So I'm going to try to hit pan on this one too. So I have 2 pan goals. Everything else I want to use 10 times at least, unless it has its special 15 uses. And again, 1 gram of product. And that's it for my Pan That palette this year. My camera battery is overheating, so I'm going to try to wrap this up as fast as possible. The windows are open, there's dogs barking, things are happening, there's people fixing the house next to us. Things are happening right now in my life, and it's a little bananas. Let me know in the comments below if you're doing a Pan That palette or whatever panning project you're deciding to do this year. I would love to know. Maybe you're just rotating through your collection. Maybe you're not even trying to pan, and that's totally fine too. Let me know what you're doing with the stuff that you own. Try not to spend money because things are expensive right now. Oh my God, this stuff expensive now. But yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.